Hi there, and welcome to this lesson. In this lesson, we'll be learning about angles in polygons. We'll be learning about angles in polygons, and we have two polygons we'll be talking about in this lesson. We'll be talking about triangles and quadrilaterals. Okay, so triangles are three-sided polygons, quadrilaterals are four-sided polygons. Now, as the lesson progresses, anything you don't understand, be sure to contact your tutor, who would be more than happy to help. But yes, let's jump right into the lesson. Now, angles in polygons and triangles and quadrilaterals. Now, let's start off with angles in a triangle. Okay, so we have angles in the triangle. And then basically I have this triangle here and have three angles. And the triangle has three angles. And basically there's just one law, one very important law you need to remember when you're dealing with triangles. And that's that the sum of the angles in a triangle is always 180 degrees. Okay, so if you have any triangle at all, it doesn't matter what shape or form the triangle comes in. Basically, you just need to remember that the sum of all the angles in the triangle would always equal 180 degrees. So if you're ever given a situation where you have maybe two angles and you're asked to solve for the third angle, you just subtract those two angles from 180 degrees, given that when you add all of them, you get 180 degrees. If you're looking for a final angle, you just subtract the angles you have from 180 degrees and you have your answer. Now, angles in an isosceles triangle. Okay, so if you recall, we have three types of triangles. We have the equilateral triangle. An equilateral triangle has all sides equal. We have an isosceles triangle. An isosceles triangle has two sides equal. And then we have a scalene triangle. A scalene triangle has no side equal, basically. And now we're going to be talking about isosceles triangle, and this guy already mentioned the one very important thing about an isosceles triangle is it actually has two sides equal. And basically, as you can see, denoted by the two dashes, it tells you that those two sides are equal. And by virtue of the fact that the sides are equal, the angles that they form are equal as well. So if you have equal sides, you have equal angles as well. Okay, and basically what this means, we have the base angles in an isosceles triangle are equal. And it's very important to note that an isosceles triangle can come in any form. Okay, it just needs to have two sides equal. And as long as you have two sides equal, this is an isosceles triangle. And by virtue of the fact that the sides are equal, you also have the angles are equal as well. Okay, now finally, let's talk about angles in a quadrilateral. And for quadrilaterals, we just have one very, very simple rule we need to remember. The sum of angles in a quadrilateral is 360 degrees. So quadrilaterals have four sides, and the most common quadrilateral is the rectangle. Okay, so rectangles, squares, rhombus, kite. Those are some of the popular quadrilaterals that you know. And then we do have irregular quadrilaterals that don't have any defined shape, but they do have four sides. And we'll talk about those later on. But then, what you need to know about quadrilaterals is the sum of angles in a quadrilateral is always 360 degrees. So we recap. Angles in a triangle, sum. For triangles, the sum always equals 180 degrees. For isosceles triangles with two sides equal, the base angles are always equal. And then the sum of angles in the quadrilateral, 360 degrees. So now you have all the firepower that you need. We can go ahead and solve some examples. I will start off with example 1. And example 1 says find the value of D in the figure below. So we have this triangle. It has angles 20 degrees, 100 degrees, and angle D. And we're looking to find D, okay? And basically, what law would you apply at this point? You have a triangle, you're giving two sides, you're looking to find the final side. All you need to remember is that when you add D plus 100 degrees plus 20 degrees, you have 180 degrees. And from that point on, you just need to go ahead and solve for D. So you have that D plus 120 degrees equals 180, and you have D equals 180 minus 120, and you end up with D as 60 degrees. Very simple, very straightforward. Let's move on. Example 2. In example 2, we have solve for the angle labeled M in the figure below. So we have this triangle, and if you look closely, I believe you'd agree with me that this is an isosceles triangle because we actually have two sides equal. So if you look there, there's some markings that show that just two sides are equal. Okay, and basically we're looking to solve for the angle M. We're given just one angle, however, so we actually can't apply a 180-degree law just yet, okay? Because we're looking to find one angle, but we're given just one angle. We don't know what the other angle is. But by virtue of the fact that this is an isosceles triangle, okay, and those two sides are equal, it should follow that this angle would be 70 degrees as well, because the law states that for an isosceles triangle, the angles from the two equal sides are equal. And basically you have 70 degrees, and now you have all the sides in the triangle. You have M, 70, and 70. You can go ahead and say M plus 70 equals 180, M plus 140 equals 180, M equals 180 degrees minus 140 degrees, and you should end up with 40 degrees. M equals 40 degrees. Okay, one final example, example 3. Ooh, interesting. Okay, so we have this is a quadrilateral. There's one side that's a bit extended out. But if you look at this shape, you actually have four sides, one, two, three, four. It's not a regular quadrilateral. Okay, it's not as erect and clean looking as a rectangle. It's pretty much all over the place. Okay, but basically it has four sides and it's most definitely a quadrilateral. And we're just going to go ahead and solve for angles V and angles W, okay? And we're going to start off with V. And if you look at V and 50 degrees, you'd find that V and 50 degrees are actually adjacent angles on a straight line, okay? And basically angles on a straight line, sum of angles on a straight line, if you recall, always equal 180. So V plus 50 equals 180, and we have V as 180 minus 50. V is 130 degrees. So we have V, okay, we have 130, we now have 80 degrees, we have 100 degrees, we have W in the quadrilateral. And basically at this point, for quadrilateral, we have three angles and we're looking to find the final one. All we need to do is recall that when you add all of the angles in the quadrilateral together, you end up with 360 degrees. So W plus 100 plus 80 plus V is 130 degrees, equals 360. And then you add all of that up, you have that W plus 310 gives you 360. And then you have the W equals 360 minus 310, you have W as 50 degrees. Very simple, very straightforward. Now that would bring us to the end of this very simple lesson. Okay, you can go ahead now and attempt questions on the worksheet. Bye for now.